warm, or there it's going to be a nice day, but it's hard for them to want to predict, to look at the times and see, oh, we're in the last days. And Christ is saying that there's signs everywhere showing that we are in the end times. But man doesn't want to pay attention to that or focus on the fact that we're living in the end times, but they can focus on um, looking at the sky and saying what weather it is, and to focus on the end of times, pretty much.
Yes, amen, amen. That's exactly what what we just read. That's basically what it is. So, um, I mean, basically, we can look at the sky. We can say, oh, you know what, it's going to rain. How the weather gonna be, and then with scientists, right now, with so much knowledge that we have scientific gadget, so we don't even pay attention to this anymore. We don't even pay attention to the time anymore. We just go on the computer. You know what, tomorrow it's going to rain, and so on. So, but God actually put the signs there. The signs of the end of times, and yet we do not pay attention to them. So yeah, that's basically the introduction of it. So we are going to begin our study. Um, okay. Question number one. It says, "Who only knows the exact day and hour?" Oh, okay. Also, in the introduction story that we just read, people, we have to be careful, okay, in predicting things, in saying, you know what, Jesus will be coming at a certain time. I remember several years back, I forgot the name of that guy. He died, he passed away now. So he said, Jesus will be returning on a certain day. And he even exactly gave the time. It was about five something. So we would see Jesus, coming in the sky. And I believe that guy actually died maybe 2 or 3 months after that. But he made several predictions before. So, and several people were following that. And then some people, they sold their homes, they did so many things because they were truly preparing themselves. And, the day passed and nothing came. So basically, the story is telling us we have to kind of be careful to say that, because each time we make that prediction and it does not occur. So what happened is the heart of man, okay, the heart of the sinner is only hardening. So we really have to be careful, because when we give a prediction, Jesus is coming January 2021, and Jesus does not come. So the sinner, what's going to happen? The sinner goes back to his own way, and then his heart only become harder, because now for each time we do that, that's what happened. And that's how, people say, oh, you always say Jesus coming, and Jesus never comes. So we kind of have to be careful, because nobody actually truly know when Jesus is coming. So we are going to begin with our lesson. In question number one, who only knows the exact day and hour of the end of this world and the coming of Christ? Matthew 24, verse 36. Who wants to read for us? Matthew 24, verse 36. Okay, Vasti, I believe you are the person tonight to do it, because Brother Jacques is there. I don't know if Brother Jacques wants to read for us too, because um Kelly KK is traveling, even though she's on the line. So basically, Brother Jacques, I don't know if you can read for us. I don't know if it's also your wife that's there, so maybe you can help out also with the reading. Okay. So who only knows the exact day and hour of the end of this world and the coming of Christ? Who knows that? Who knows the day? Who knows the time? Matthew 24, verse 36.
All right. Um, and it reads, "But of that day and hour no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, but my Father only."
Okay. So we see we have to be careful of people telling us, what, Jesus is coming at a certain day, certain time. So Matthew 24, verse 36, okay, just that we just read said, but of that day and hour knoweth no man. No man knows, okay, the day and the hour of Christ coming back on the earth. Not even the angels, not even the angels of heaven, only the Father. Okay, we have to be careful with people coming with prediction like this. So the second question is Is there any way by which we can know when the end is near? Is there any way by which we can know when the end is near? Matthew 24, verses 32, 33. Do we have signs to know when the end is near? Although we do not know the hour, okay, the exact day and the exact hour, but do we have indication for us to know when the end is near? Matthew 24, verses 32, 33.
I will read
Okay.
verses 32, 33. Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, he know that summer is nigh. So likewise, he, when he shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors.
Exactly. So there are signs to let us know. And that's the reason when Jesus was speaking, he said, when you see a fig tree, and then when you see the branch of the fig tree is tender, and then you see the leaves are coming, then you know the summer is near. So basically, even for us also, during the winter, you can see, the leaves, they are, fall, the leaves, they are falling and so on. But as soon as, one morning we wake up and then we can see like, okay, we can see some flower blossoming. We know basically it's going to be spring, then it's going to be winter. We know that. Okay, so it's also the same way. There are signs there. So when we see those signs, then we should know that he is at the door. Okay, so question number 3. What will the nations be doing just before the coming of Christ? What will we be doing, the nations that will be doing just before the coming of Christ? Matthew 24, verses 6 and 7.
And it says, and you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in various places.
Okay. So what will the nations be doing just before the coming of Christ? And just before the coming of Christ, what we are going to see, we're gonna see the nations, they're gonna be against each other. We're gonna see wars and rumors of wars. And Jesus said, we need to be careful. So those things, we are not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Even when you see these things, wars and rumors of wars, this thing that should happen, but this is not the end yet. This is not the end yet. For nation shall rise against nation. We should see the nations, they're fighting against each other. We should see kingdom against kingdom, and there should be famine, pestilences just like what we are living right now, COVID-19, earthquake in diverse places. We should see these are the signs, but yet it is not the end yet. I want to say something, okay? Because this is twice, if I'm not mistaken, once or twice, I think it's twice, that I've heard even among us Seventh-day Adventists, we are saying something that is not correct. Jesus is saying like, see that ye be not troubled. I want to make that clear. When Jesus said that, when we see those things, not be troubled, and 2 weeks, last week, and also like I think 2 weeks prior, we read about this where Jesus said, when you see things, not, let your heart not be troubled, because I'm going to prepare a place for you. And then after I prepare this place, I will come and get you. He said, let you not be troubled. What Jesus mean by let you not be troubled, the word trouble that is used, that does not mean you do not feel the pain of what's going on around you. Because twice, it seems like Seventh-day Adventists today, when they are seeing things around that, well, this thing that was supposed to happen, this thing that was supposed to happen, that's not what Jesus meant by saying like, let your heart not be troubled. When Jesus was on earth, Jesus cried when Jesus saw sins around him like this. So Jesus felt what was going on around him. And we have all the prophets, they also felt the same thing. We have Habakkuk. Habakkuk, at one point of time, Habakkuk was crying and saying, Lord, why are you letting my eyes see iniquities is like this. Habakkuk was crying. So people, they're like saying, oh, if you feel like, you're in pain for those things, you are troubled for those things, it's like you are not walking with God. That is not true. That is not true. But Isaiah said, only those people who's feeling that pain, there will only be those people that will be sealed. Because as you're seeing these pains, as you're seeing the pains that's going on around you, that's going to open your eyes to see, wow, this is what sins have caused, and because of that you will make the decision not to sin. Okay, then therefore when Jesus is saying let not your heart be troubled, what Jesus is saying by this, let not your heart be troubled, do not allow these things to affect you so much that you forget your God. Okay, that you be like the pagans saying like, oh, where is God to allow all of this to happen? Just like, right now, that's what a lot of people are saying. So where is God? If God truly existed, why exactly those things? That's what he's saying when he said, let not your heart be troubled. He's not talking about you not feeling them. He's talking about like, do not go like the pagan, okay? To say like, oh, God does not exist, that's the reason these things are happening. So I just wanted to make this clear, okay? So right before the coming of Jesus Christ, that's what we are going to see, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, famine, pestilences, earthquake in diverse places. And you remember what happened not long ago in Haiti, that earthquake. And these things, they are going to be more frequent. Okay, any questions? Okay,
No.
we can move on to the next one. Okay. For what will the nations be preparing near the end of time? Okay. For what will the nations be preparing near the end of time?
Joel
And
chapter
without,
3.
yeah, okay. Joel 3, verses 9 to 12.
And it reads, proclaim this among the nations, prepare for war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up, beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble and come, all you nations, and gather together all around, because your mighty ones to go down there, O Lord. Let the nations be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there I will sit to judge all the surrounding nations.
So we see as the time is coming closer, as the end of time is coming closer, what nations, what they are going to do, they are going to prepare for war. Okay, that's what they are going to do. Last night, I said to myself, oh my God, I don't know what's going on in the world. It's just like you see all nations, basically, they are rising up. Cuba, which is a communist country, where you never hear things like this about Cubans, taking the street protesting. Now, this week, Cuba, the people, they are taking the streets and they are protesting. South Africa right now, it's basically chaotic. If you guys remember summer last year, even though during the COVID, you could see like that thing about Black Lives Matter, you could see like how the people, they were like rising up. I mean, they were destroying things. That's exactly what's happening in South Africa right now. And if you see in Europe right now, it's basically, it's like all the nations, they are rising up right now. It's really, really, really crazy right now what's going on. So, I mean, they are all signs that they are telling us something is going on. And then you can see now China, and what's the other country? China, I forgot the name of the other country. It's a very small country. China just made threat against Philippines, threat against Philippines, and the United States answered China and said there's a treaty that we had with Philippines, a treaty back in the 19-something hundred, like early 1900, where the United States, if you attack China, if you attack Philippines based on that treaty, we will also attack you. So therefore, we can see nations rising against nation. So that's basically what people, they are preparing for war. If you so like last year during that Black Lives Matter, what people they were asking, so there should be no more police. They just want to be lawless. Okay, so these are the things that we are saying. So that's what the nation will be doing just before the coming of Christ. So we are going to move on to question number 4. Oh no, question number 5. Okay, what terms are used to show the anxiety and trouble that will exist among the nations just before the end? What terms are used to show the anxiety and trouble that will exist among the nations just before the end of time? How the nations are going to be, how anxious they are going to be? What terms are used for that anxiety, for the trouble that will exist in the nation? Luke 21. Luke 21, verses 25 and 26.
And it reads, "And there will be signs in the sun, in the moon, and in the stars, and on the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them from fear and the expectations of those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of the heavens will be shaken."
Amen. So we see signs that we are going to see. We are going to see signs in the sun. We are going to see signs in the moon. We are going to see signs in the star. I can tell you all these things. Many of them actually they occurred. So I don't know if you remember what year. Many of them. A lot of those things. For example, I mean, since you've been in school, guys, maybe you learned this. Signs in the sun. We know at one point of time, I mean, it was totally dark. I think it was like 2 or 3 days, even in the United States. I mean, people that could not even see anything. You know, sometimes you see the moon, you can even see the light from the moon. And the stars, we have meteorites where actually the stars were actually falling. You know what? I can even Google it so I can see the date. Actually, yes, we did see the sign of the stars, and that was right before, if you remember, the earthquake of Lisbon. That was right before that, and it says right now it says in verse 25, where the earth upon the earth and upon the earth distress of nation. Basically right now that's what we are saying. That's what we are seeing. We are seeing like the nations, they are in distress. They are perplexed, and the sounds of the people, it's like the sound of the water of the ocean. That's because they war like the ocean. That's what we see. We see the nations, they are in distress. People basically right now today, they don't really know what to do. You could see people, oh, I'm going to Haiti, oh, I'm staying here. I mean, they just don't know what to do. These are signs that definitely tell us that the end is near. The nations, they are in distress. So any questions? Okay, we are going to continue. What are the signs that will be seen in the financial or economic world? What are the signs that will be seen in the financial or economic world? Just like we are going to see signs in the nation, signs in the moon, the stars, there's going to be sign also in the financial or economic world. James 5, verses 1 to 8.
And it reads, "Come now, you rich, weep and howl for your miseries that are coming upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver are corroded, and their corrosion will be a witness against you, and will eat your flesh like fire. You have heaped up treasure in the last days. Indeed, the wages of the laborers who mowed your fields, which you kept back by fraud, cry out, and the cries of the reapers have reached the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth. You have lived on the earth in pleasure and luxury. You have fattened your hearts as in a day of slaughter. You have condemned, you have murdered the just. He does not resist you. Therefore be patient, brethren, until the coming of the Lord. See how the farmer waits for the precious fruit of the earth, waiting patiently for it until it receives the early and latter rain. You also be patient. Establish your hearts, for the coming of the Lord is at hand."
Good. So we can also see James 5 verses 1 to 8, what's going to happen. We are going to face financial and economic problems, okay? So we are going to see the things that people, they are seeking for gold, for silver, for money, and we are going to see signs. And basically, it's been for a while, we've been seeing those signs where you wake up one morning and the market crash. And if you guys remember that, I mean, studying to history, on the Great Depression that happened in the United States. I don't remember what year, on 1913 or 1920 something. So the Great Depression, and this is things, that will continue to happen. If you guys recall, even though you're very young, 2008, actually the market had collapsed, and basically people, they lost a lot of money. And that's what we are going to be faced with: financial problem, with economic problem. So these are also signs that we will see on the market. Question number 7. What will the nations be proclaiming, and what will happen? What will the nations be proclaiming? As we are seeing all these things, what will the nations be proclaiming, and what will happen? 1 Thessalonians 5, verse 3 to 4.
And it reads, "For when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes upon them as labor pains upon a pregnant woman, and they shall not escape. But you, brethren, are not in darkness, so that this day should overtake you as a thief."
Okay, so the verse that we just read above, it's telling us about financial crisis we will be found ourselves. Through that pestilence, COVID-19, we know that a lot of people, they found themselves in financial problem. I mean, they lost their job, and that's the reason, the government is from time to time is giving like stimulus check. It's because we are finding ourselves in financial troubles. And then, as all these things are happening, what will they be saying? 1 Thessalonians 5, verses 3 to 4, they will be saying peace and safety. They will be saying everything will be okay. And this is exactly what we are living today. You can see with everything that we are facing, COVID-19, people losing their job. You can see the government, they're saying like, peace and safety. We can do something. Let's come up with a vaccine. I mean, peace and safety, so we can go back on the market. Everything will be fine. The Bible teaches us, as they will be saying peace and safety, okay, then sudden destruction will come upon them. As you see, everything like this is everything, those things are happening. You see, the government is saying, no, everything will be okay. We can do this, we can do that. Peace and safety, sudden destruction is coming. So as we are studying tonight, we need to pay attention to the signs of time, okay? Sudden destruction is coming. Any questions? Okay, what signs? Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, no, it's clear.
Okay. What signs, question number 8, what signs would be seen in the moral deterioration of humanity? Morally, how is humanity gonna be? Okay, 2 Timothy 3, verses 1 to 5.
"But know this, that in the last days perilous times will come. For men will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, unloving, unforgiving, slanderers, without self-control, brutal, despisers of good, traitors, headstrong, haughty, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying its power, and from such people turn away."
Okay, so we're gonna see signs in the moon, signs, signs in all these things, signs in the moon, the sea, and everything, the stars. We also see how basically we are going to have financial problems. And now it's talking about in the last day how human beings gonna be. Okay, what sign would be seen in the moral deterioration of humanity? How human being gonna be? verse 1 is very interesting. 2 Timothy 3 verse 1 is very interesting. It says, this know also that in the last days perilous time shall come. Who wrote 2 Timothy? Apostle Paul wrote 2 Timothy. He said, in the last day perilous time shall come. If he could say in the last days perilous time shall come, so that means the time in which he was living, man was not in that condition. Okay, it's true that man, since sin has entered the world, man has never been good, has never been decent. But compared to at the time that he was living to the time of the end, this thing, the love of men will totally disappear. He said, in the last day, perilous time shall come. That's mean when he was living, man was not in that condition. And how man is going to be? Men are going to be lovers of their own selves. Okay, they're going to covet. They're going to boast about things. They're going to be proud. They're going to blaspheme. They're going to be disobedient to parents. They're going to be unthankful, unholy, with no affection. Your best friend will betray you, even though you are so close. Your parents, truth breakers, your best friend, your parents, your father, anyone will betray you. They are going to accuse you, false accusers. They are going to be incontinent, fierce despisers of those that are good. They're not going to like people who's conducting themselves in the light of God. They are going to be traitors. They are going to be heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God. And it says they are going to have a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. I want to accentuate, to focus on this. Verse 5. Having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. That's been helped because this writer is speaking about people in the church, because the world, they cannot have a form of godliness. But us in the church, the way that we are going to be, we are going to dress, we are going to go to church every Sabbath. But guess what? We are not observing the commandment of God. What we are doing is a form that we have from the outside, but we deny the power thereof. The power thereof is that we